ever wonder why Jesus didn't come right out and say, "Hey, I'm God"? You know, some people say he was just a human, and some say he was maybe an angel. But why didn't he just clear this up for us by saying, "Hey, I'm God"? Well, not so fast. Let's take a closer look. Remember when the Jewish leaders came to Jesus and said, "Are you greater than our father Abraham?" And Jesus said, "Well, Abraham was pretty pumped for the day I would arrive, and believe me, not only that, he actually saw it and was happy." The Jewish leaders replied, "Psst, you're not even 50 years old and Abraham has been long dead, and you say that you've seen Abraham?" How did Jesus respond to this? He said, "Very truly I say to you, before Abraham was born, I am." What? I am? What on earth is Jesus saying? Why did he call himself I am? It's not like he forgot to finish the sentence. He said, I am. Period. That's it. Just I am. Well, to understand this better, we have to go back in history. Do you remember when Moses went up into the mountain and he sees God in the burning bush? God gives him some instructions. He says, "Go down to the Israelites and tell them what I've told you." But Moses says, whoa. Wait a minute. When I go down to tell the people what you've said, who should I say sent me? And God replies, "I am who I am. Tell them I am has sent you." Whoa. Jesus was saying to the Jewish leaders, "Hey, remember Moses talking to I am in the burning bush? Yep, that's me. I am." Are you still feeling a little confused? Well, it's okay. The Jewish leaders weren't. They knew exactly what he was saying because they immediately tried to kill him for blasphemy. Basically, it was illegal for someone to say they were God. And they accused him of this often. On another occasion, Jesus asked them, "Why do you try to kill me?" And they replied, "We're trying to kill you because you claim to be God." You see, this claim to be the I am is so serious because God had many titles in the Old Testament, including Adonai and Elohim. But those titles were okay to be used for humans or even false gods. But only one title was reserved for God alone, and that was I am. Which, by the way, I am is translated to Yahweh, which is translated to Jehovah. Yep, that's where we get that from. So Jesus was basically saying, "Hey, I'm Jehovah in the flesh, my boys." But wait, there's more. In addition to directly claiming to be God, he also indirectly claimed to be God on many occasions. He did this by assuming the attributes that were only designated for and to God in the Old Testament. Let me show you just a few examples. Jesus said, "I am the good shepherd," but the Old Testament says God is the good shepherd. Jesus said, "I am the judge of all people," but the Old Testament says God and no one else is the judge of all people. Jesus said to the paralyzed man, "Your sins are forgiven," but the Jewish leaders knew only God could forgive sins. That's why Jesus healed him, to show them proof. Otherwise, hey, anyone could say your sins are forgiven, but only God could prove it. Jesus said, "I am the giver of life," but the Old Testament says only God is the giver of life. And perhaps the strongest example is Jesus actually accepted worship. And believe me, the Old Testament is definitely clear that God and only God was to accept worship. And there are many more examples in the Bible. Doubting Thomas said after Jesus appeared to him, "My Lord and my God." Not "my Lord and oh my God." That's a modern day expression. That's not an expression that existed 2,000 years ago. So after a closer look, we can see Jesus clearly said he was God. Now the question is, was Jesus lying? Or maybe Jesus needed to be admitted into a psychiatric hospital. Or maybe he was actually telling the truth. You see, Jesus said he would back up all his claims by dying and physically rising from the dead. So, if he didn't, then we can conclude maybe he was a liar, or maybe he was crazy. But if the evidence suggests he actually pulled it off and rose from the dead, then his claims to be God are true. If you liked this video, please don't forget to subscribe.